Hello everyone, welcome back. On this phase of the course, we are going to start to play with the agent memories, which will be basically storing some extra information that the agent will be using. And when you talk about the agent memories, usually there is two type of memories. There is the long-term memory, which will kind of capture some information that will remain if it persisted on a database, and it will be beyond the user session, let's say like that. And there is the short memory, which will basically contain the user session interaction with our assistant. And basically, we're going to start diving into those. But before that, we'll need to kind of create some, let's say, some infrastructure before that, which will basically be, we'll need the kind of cache memory, or we're going to call it a memory persistence, where you're going to keep our memory in those objects using those strategies. So let's start with the memory cache, which will be basically persisting our data in memory, basically using a simple dictionary. So we're gonna be memory cache, and we'll have, let's call this kind of capacity, because we'll want to make sure we'll not overflow our local memory. So we're gonna kind of keep a maximum capacity for that you're gonna be keeping in memory, and you're gonna use this kind of idea of last read access. So we'll kind of, let's say, delete things that it's on the bottom of our stack, so based on the last usage. So as we access to that key value, you're going to put in the bottom, so that will not be deleted. Let's say capacity, I'm going to call this capacity, and the cache here, I will use a dictionary. I forgot the name. It's dictionary. No, it's order dictionary, to facilitate we implement this algorithm. And then you're gonna say if the length of the capacity is when you're adding, let's start with implementing the cache first here. So we're gonna basically say if the key is not in the cache, we turn none, and otherwise we return the cache itself. And then for the put, we will basically check if the key is in the car. If it is, we are gonna just move to the end, the key. So basically that's on our stack. When you access it, or when you just add it, you put onto the end. And then we basically, so gosh, we actually add the information. And then we kind of check if it is reached the maximum capacity. Length, all the cell, gosh, it's bigger than the capacity, so we will then remove it. So self pop item, and we say last. And yeah, so basically that. So this one here, if we are kind of putting the same value, so it's also indicate as recently accessed. I think that's basically it. Okay. Yeah, I think basically that. And another thing we'll kind of introduce here, we have introduced the domain, the caching domain. We could kind of use the same cache for before calling our LLM and speed up things. Instead of being processing again and call the API, you can just return if that query was already done. But we're going to do that later. So at the moment, we're going to use that for our memory implementation. And now let's implement our memory, let's say chat memory service as usual. Have a service entry point for our domain at memory service. We just add here and need No, okay, to do. We are here, then we're gonna use last. We're gonna say short memory. We'll use the memory cache that we just created. And short memory. Let's also create here already the long term memory, even though we are not going to work with that yet. Let's add it here. Long. What else? I think that's basically that. So then you need to kind of do a update, get, let's say, get short memory, which is basically that. Get long memory, and this one we're gonna get the memory basically to memory, and if the memory is known, we return an empty array. Can do the same here. Memory. We need to update short-term memory, and we update long-term memory. The update will need first check if the short memory is known. If it is known, if it doesn't exist, you need to create one array with the new one. And if it is already exist, we will basically get and append the new value to the existing one. And we'll do the same for the long term one. One thing, the long term will be a list of basically strings, but the short we're gonna have a bit more the stuff. So this I think that create a factory chat memory. And so an important part here is that our short memory are gonna keep maximum 10 messages, and on our long term we are gonna keep 30. And here we are keeping those in memory, but it would be better if you keep the long term memory into a relational database or any other way of persist things for long term. And here you just keep both in memory. But yeah, in our case, when we implement something for production, it's important to keep that long term in a more reliable way. I think that's basically this. Let's say now let's add that to our service. Chat memory. Oh, let's start using this memory, and this memory will be basically the short memory. The short memory you will be a what I said would be the short memory, the key and value. So the key would be a user. Let's create it here. Later we're gonna have a user and go user 1, 2, 3 with a name, let's say. Username. And here we're gonna pass some values. Would be a message, would be basically prompt. Then will be the role, will be user, and we'll also pass what is the context used. For the, I'm gonna also keep the assistant response, and we'll have no context, and he will be assistant, and he will be the response output dot message, and we're gonna do the same. Yeah. What else? So we need to pass it here. Chat memory 7. And have to set it here. Chat memory factor factory chat memory. Right. Has no parameter. Memory. And should basically be that. Let's see if our app's still working. I need to start it. Yeah, still working. So for this lesson, it will be just that. So we are kind of building the base for building our memory for our agents. See you in the next lecture to build the short memory and pass it as part of the request to the ChatGPT. See you next lecture.